Welcome back. I'm so grateful you're here for day 2. Let's start by simmering down, taking a deep breath together. Ready? Inhale in. Hold it. Hold it. And just exhale it out with a sigh. We are ready to dive in. I want to start today by asking you, what did you notice after our session on Thursday? If anything stood out for you, I would love it if you would drop it in the chat so that we can all get a chance to learn from each other. More than likely, if you're joining and you're collaborating and you're adding things into the chat, people are going to be able to recognize that we have more similarities than differences, and that many times we're experiencing a lot of the same things. So it's really validating and important to be able to share. There's no right or wrong answer here. So today we're taking this even deeper. Thursday, we unlocked your codes. Today, we're learning how to rewire them back to safety and flow. Are you ready? So the first thing I want you to hear loud and clear is that your body is not broken, okay? Your body has always been working to protect you, even if sometimes it doesn't feel like it and it just doesn't make any sense. If you've been following me for a while, you know I always say the number one job of your brain is to keep you safe. Now, does it keep you safe within what it is that it feels or thinks logically? It is. It's keeping you safe. So let's move on. Another topic for another day. So there are 4 common ways that your nervous system will respond to stress. Fight, which means you might feel like you need to push through, control, or defend yourself. Then we have flight, where your mind begins to race. You avoid things, or you may feel the need to escape, which these days it's not that hard with social media and scrolling. When we are talking about freeze, we're talking about when we shut down, right? Feeling numb, or just feeling disconnected, not wanting to make that connection, not being able to come out and connect. When you fawn, you might over apologize. You may people please or do anything to keep the peace and avoid conflict. If you've ever felt any of these, that's your body doing its job to protect you, okay? Now, can you remember a time when one of these showed up for you? Maybe in a hard conversation, a moment of stress, or when something felt so overwhelming. If something is coming up right now, I want to invite you to just notice it, right? We aren't going to judge it. We're just meeting it with curiosity and recognizing that, yeah, now I get it. This is what it's called. We're naming what is happening. Okay, so let's move on. Let's start to decode triggers. I want you to know that your body has a map, and that map is always going to be unique to you. In human design, your energy centers can show you where your body is the most sensitive and where you're most steady. But again, I'm going to remind you, this is not about labeling anything as bad or wrong. This is about understanding, where do I absorb stress from others, and where do I hold steady no matter what's happening around me? I'm going to break it down simply for you. If you have never seen a human design chart, here it is. So on the left, you're going to see a human design chart that has no color. So this one shows us that all of these are open centers. The wild thing is that if you are a reflector, this is exactly what your chart looks like. A reflector is about Well, they are about 1% of the population. Interesting, huh? So on the right, you have color on this chart. And believe it or not, someone with a chart that has all the centers defined are less than 1% of the population. So there's not a lot of people who have all the chart defined, all the centers defined, but they do exist. Anyhow, let's move on. If you have an open center, this means that you can easily pick up energy from other people in the area. So this is when I say it's not personal, it's energy, right? We're absorbing all of this stuff. It's like having an open window and the breeze of other people's emotions or energy can come through. This is what I call a sensitivity code, okay? Now, if you have a defined center, it means you hold a steady energy in that area. It's like having a closed window. You can generate your own energy without being too affected by others. And I call this a stability code. Neither is good or bad. They're just different ways your body responds to life and the things around. Here I want to show you a little bit about what happens with every center, right? Starting with the head. We call the third eye the ajna, and then the throat. And then we have the heart center, which we call the G center, and then the will. And then we have, and this order is a little different than what I have memorized, obviously, sorry. So we have the heart, which is the will center, the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root. Now, if a center is open, a sensitivity code, you absorb energy from the outside world and from defined centers around you, which are the stability codes. If a center is defined, you generate your own energy in that area and you broadcast it. So anyone with an open center will receive your broadcast and will amplify that. But here's the key. Open centers need release tools, right? They need to clear out the energy that does not belong to them. The defined centers, they need regulation tools to stabilize and stay grounded in their power. So I'm about to guide you through each center, and I'm going to give you two different tools. One, for an open center to release. Two, for a defined center for regulation. I'll pause after each one so you can notice how this is landing in your body. And don't worry, this is all in your quick guide. So take a look at the chart and read through it really quickly. Don't worry, I am going to talk about patterns versus the responses. You have plenty of time to go through all of that, and it is also going to be in your homework for tonight. So take a moment to read this as I start to talk to you about the patterns that we end up with. So when we have an open head, which is a sensitivity code, the old pattern is that you're absorbing everyone else's thoughts, questions, and ideas, which end up overwhelming your mind. The new pattern is for you to release what isn't yours to be thinking about, to be answering, to be just pondering. And funny enough, one of the memes with human design is someone with an open head has trouble falling asleep because they're just thinking about things that are just not important. So guilty over here. The reset tool, and you can do this, is if you have an open head center, go ahead and close your eyes. Place your hand on your head wherever it feels comfortable. I want you to breathe in slowly and then say, "This is not mine. I release it now." And exhale slowly, feeling that pressure leaving your body. and flip your eyes open. Now, if you have a defined head, the stability code, the old pattern is to generate too many of your own thoughts that are overwhelming yourself, that are overwhelming you with mental pressure. So the new pattern is to slow down your thinking so that you can find clarity. The reset tool is going to be place your hand on your heart and just say, I don't have to figure this out right now. Breathe slowly until you feel space open in your mind. And just let that go. Good. Let's move on to the ajna, the third eye. So the open ajna is a sensitivity code. And the old pattern would be to doubt yourself, wait for certainty before making a move. The new pattern that we're going to work on is to move forward without perfect clarity. It's okay not to see the full picture. Just go ahead and jump in, right? A lot of us stay stuck in paralysis. So the reset tool here is, again, close your eyes and just whisper to yourself, I don't need to know everything to take the next step. Take one deep breath, signaling to your brain that it's safe to act. And exhale slowly. Letting go, allowing your body to become soft. And flip your eyes open. Now, if you have a defined ajna, which is your stability code, the old pattern is you get rigid in your beliefs or you feel the pressure to always be right. Think about that for a minute. Not being able to see the full picture and it's my way or the highway. Here is your reset tool. Gently touch your forehead and just say to yourself, I allow space for new possibilities. Breathe deeply and release any mental tension that you may be holding on to. And just acknowledge that there are so many different ways to do things. It's not just that one way, and sometimes we become very stubborn when we have this defined ajna. So let's move on to the next. Okay, so we're moving on to the throat center. I'm going to give you a moment to read a little bit about the responses here as we start to go into patterns. And just take a look at your chart. See if you have an open throat or if you have a defined throat. And if you have an open throat, that's a sensitivity code, which means that we are receiving energy from others. And so the old pattern is you speak out of turn, hoping to be noticed or heard, often feeling invisible. Now the new pattern for this is to patiently wait for an invitation or a moment to respond, trusting that your voice will be received. So this is a big one, okay? A lot of us have an open throat. I know I have an open throat and I am guilty. And I never really connected it to wanting attention, but I guess, it's true. It's wanting to be heard. So the reset tool here is to place your hand on your throat wherever it is comfortable and just whisper to yourself, my voice will be heard when the time is right. Breathe in and feel that tension dissolve in the throat. A lot of human design is about right timing and not pushing, because if we push, we have the tendency to burn out when we push too hard. So now we're going to the the defined throat, which is the stability code. The old pattern is to speak so quickly without thinking that sometimes you come off as blunt, harsh, or even rude without meaning to. So the new pattern for this is to pause before speaking to ensure that your words carry intention and clarity. So the reset tool for this, again, is place your hand on your throat wherever it feels comfortable and then just say, I choose to speak with intention, not reaction. Pause for one slow breath before you speak again. Okay? And just feel your body. How is that landing for you? There's no right or wrong. It just is. And so let's move on to what we call the G center. This is where your identity, your purpose, and your love live. The open G center is a sensitivity code, right? It's open. The old pattern is you shapeshift to match the people around you, constantly searching for identity or belonging. I feel like the chameleon is the one who kind of comes around with this open G center. Someone who can be in so many different circles and just fits, right? It's unusual to shapeshift so much, but it does happen. The new pattern that we want to bring in is to trust that you are already enough and belonging will find you. So authenticity. The reset tool is to place your hand on your chest and just whisper, I belong just as I am. Visualize a golden light surrounding you, sealing in your energy. And with a nice inhale and exhale, moving on to a defined G center, which is a stability code. There's an old pattern for this, which is rigidly identifying with a fixed version of yourself, resisting change and resisting growth. The new pattern that we want to bring in is to open yourself to evolve and expand without fear of losing yourself. The reset tool is to place your hand on your heart and say, I allow myself to evolve and still be me. Take one deep breath and imagine yourself expanding into your highest potential as you exhale. And just notice if you feel expansive, if you feel you're landing or you're grounding. No right or wrong, we're just noticing. So again, here we are with the will center and the solar plexus. Go ahead and take a look at the screen and read about the old response and the new response. And just notice what feels relatable here for you. With the will center, this is the place where our value lives, where we try to do a little more than we should, even though there's no need for us. We just want to feel like we're important, okay? And then the solar plexus is where our emotions live. So let's move on to the patterns. So the open heart, right, the will center, gives us a sensitivity code. So the old pattern is trying to prove yourself or earning your worth. And the new pattern is that you need to remember your inherent value. You're valuable regardless of what you do or you do not do. Unfortunately, we live in a society where everyone feels like they have to prove their worth, and it's a lot of pressure. So I want you to put your hand on your heart and say this to yourself. I am worthy just by being me. And breathe in your worthiness. Ooh, and just sigh that out. Now, this one is a biggie, so it's not very easy to just be like, okay, I'm worthy, but it's something that you definitely will gain so much if you practice. So that one is definitely one that I recommend you continue to practice and play with. So as we move on to the defined will, this is the stability code. The pattern is pushing too hard or overcommitting. This defined center has to work to rest or it will burn out. So pushing too hard. The new pattern is about slowing down and really honoring your body, honoring yourself. Okay, so the reset tool, again, hand on your heart, and just say to yourself, I do not have to prove my worth. And breathe in and exhale that out. And again, this is a big one because many times you're not so aware of the clues that your body is telling you that you really need to rest, and burnout happens quite easy when this center is defined. Let's move on to the solar plexus, the place where our emotions live. Now, if you have an open solar plexus, this is a sensitivity code. This is where we absorb everyone's emotions and things that are happening. So let's cue in here. The old pattern is absorbing things that are around us. The new pattern is to separate what is yours from what isn't yours. So really it's about what is mine and what is yours is yours. So cross your arms across your body and whisper, I release what isn't mine. Almost like blocking everything, right? And then just feel your body relax. Take a nice deep breath here. And just sigh it out. Now, if you have a defined solar plexus, this is your stability code. The old pattern is you get trapped in your own emotional waves. The new pattern that we want to invite is riding that emotional wave without getting stuck in it. Giving yourself some time to come to clarity, find that balance. So your reset tool is to place your hand on your belly and just say, I am allowed to feel this and it will pass. Okay, high waves get you super excited. Low waves can be quite low and sad. So just know that you are allowed to feel this and this too will pass. So feel that and sit with that, knowing that this too will pass and that it is okay for you to wait, to sleep on it, to wait a week, whatever it is that you need to do in order to get that clear. Yes, it's okay to do something, especially when you're committing to a big project. So we're almost done here. Again, take a look at sacral energy, the responses to them, whether it's open or defined. And then take a look at the root center, open or defined. The sacral center, this is where energy lives. This is where work and life force exists. The sacral center is mainly for generators and manifesting generators. Okay, so when it is open, meaning the projectors, the manifestors, and the reflectors are going to feel this. So it's becoming a very big sensitivity code for these types. All right. One of the things that I advise is that if you have an open sacral, it is important for you to move away from that energy so that you can rest. Because remember, you're going to amplify that energy, right? You're absorbing this. So even though someone with a defined sacral is here by design to do all the work, you are sensitive to that and you may overwork, which means that you're going to burn out. That's just the nature of it. It is not sustainable energy for you. You have to find a way to rest and allow yourself to just download whatever it is that you've done throughout the day or through periods of your day. It's important. So here we go. Sensitivity code, right? So the old pattern is that you overwork, you absorb other people's energy, and then you feel burnt out trying to keep up. The new pattern here is for you to pause and ask yourself, what is it that you desire? What is it that brings you joy? Not what others expect of you. Okay? The reset tool here is to close your eyes and ask yourself, is this mine to do? If the answer isn't a clear yes, allow yourself to rest without guilt. This is like big self-care for you. You're not here to keep up with everyone else's energy. You're here to maintain and guard your own energy because you don't have that much to begin with. And resting allows you to continue to keep up with other people or with the projects that are really important for you. Now, if your sacral is defined and this is your stability code, the old pattern is that you push through exhaustion, ignoring your body's need to rest, right? Because it's work, work, work. In traditional human design, they call generators and manifesting generators the slaves of the world. Because once they commit to something, they won't stop, right? Generators and manifesting generators don't know how to quit, or they quit too soon, which is the conundrum of the chart. Anyhow, the new pattern is to honor your natural energy and the cycles that come along with it, and trust that rest is productive. Okay, so your reset tool is to place both hands on your belly and say, rest is power. My energy is sacred. And take a deep breath and feel your sacral energy refill. Whew. Yeah. We are all meant to rest. We really are. And it's okay to rest. It's productive energy. So speaking of energy, let's go to the root center where stress and drive lives. The open root is a sensitivity code. The old pattern is feeling rushed or feeling behind. What I notice is that these are my people who have a to-do list every day. What do I have to do? What do I have to accomplish? And they just feel so much satisfaction from crossing out whatever it is on their to-do list. And then they have another to-do list. And, it's just a lot of pressure on this center to complete things. The new pattern is to allow yourself to move at your own pace. Stop feeling rushed. Stop feeling like you're behind. You are right on time. So the reset tool is to stand still and then say, I am not behind. Time moves with me. And just breathe slowly in and out. And just notice the stillness, not rushing. Now, if this is a defined root for you, it's a stability code. Your old pattern is that you overwork and you push too hard. The new pattern is to slow down without guilt. So again, that root center has an on and off pulse. Listen to the pulse. Allow yourself to slow down. This is a big motor for a lot of us. And so the reset tool is place your hands on your hips and say, I create from rest, not from rush. Resting. Again, there's focus on you not doing so much, which is a challenge for this center. So feel into that and just notice. Don't judge. What do you notice? If you feel like you want to share some of the stuff that has been coming up for you, I would love to see what you're thinking as we come to our last center. One of my favorites too. There's a lot to unpack here. Something that I want you to ponder as you're reading through the spleen center is if you've lived in survival mode most of your life, you'll feel this one deeply. The spleen is where primal fear lives. And the moment you start regulating, you'll shift your entire nervous system. This is where safety, instinct, and survival lives. So, if you have an open spleen, this is your sensitivity code. The old pattern is to absorb other people's fear, other people's anxiety, or their urgency, making you feel unsafe. The new pattern is grounding into your own body and releasing any energy that doesn't belong to you. So the reset tool is to place both feet on the ground and say, I release what is not mine. I am safe in my body. And take a deep grounding breath. And just feel your feet on the ground. This is who you are in the moment. Do I have to be afraid of anything? In the moment, can I not think about the future so anxiety doesn't kick in? Anxiety is when you're living either in the past or you're living in the future. And the spleen invites us to be in the now. So allow yourself to ground yourself in the now. What is happening right now? What can I control right now? And as tempting as it is to go into the future, a lot of times we make up these mind stories that don't take us anywhere. And so just being in the now and grounding in the now will help you reset. Okay? So when we talk about the defined spleen, we're talking about a stability code. The old pattern is ignoring or dismissing your own intuitive nudges, second guessing your instincts. And so if you remember what we were talking about, how it is a very quiet center. It is a quick yes or no. You don't have to really wait on anything. But the caveat is that you have to be really quiet and very in tune with your intuitive hits. If you're not paying attention, these intuitive hits will come and go and you're not even going to notice. They're very subtle. So the new pattern that we want to bring in is trusting your inner guidance and acting quickly when your body signals you. So the reset tool is to place your hand on your belly and whisper, I trust my body's wisdom. Breathe deeply and take action from this place of clarity, knowing that this is where your gut lives and you're making these gut decisions, right? This is your body. This is your splenic authority. This is what is telling you to move forward or to take a step back. Like I said, this center has a lot, carries a lot. And I'm hoping to tap into this and create a masterclass just on this center because it's such an important part of who we are, whether it is open or defined. What are you feeling now? Let me know. As we come to the conclusion of our day 2, I want to breathe with you. So take a deep breath for a count of 4, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 4, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and notice now how your body feels. So you didn't just learn something today, you actually recoded your nervous system in real time. And that's not a small thing. In the chat, share with us what was one key takeaway from learning about your centers. Now, every time you catch yourself in an old pattern and you shift it, you're changing your entire timeline. Every time you pause and you breathe, you get to rewrite the story your body has been holding. And every time you choose a new response, you claim more of your own power. So tonight, give yourself permission to move slower, to rest more, and let your nervous system absorb everything we did today. And when you notice an old trigger showing up, just pause, breathe, choose a new response. This is the moment your healing begins to stick. So what happens next, right? Well, personal activation. This is what's really special about that session. We're going to take everything you just discovered about your nervous system and we're going to map it directly to your human design chart. We'll go over your day 2 homework and uncover any patterns that you might have missed. And together, we'll identify exactly where your nervous system is stuck and how to unlock your flow state faster. This is where it goes from theory to embodiment. And I know you'll leave that call with crystal clear clarity about how to keep expanding without falling back into old patterns. Remember the brain, it loves patterns. This is your moment. So you've already started rewriting your story and now you have 2 choices. You can let what you learned today slowly fade away, or you can let me personally guide you through integrating this into your life. So you stop repeating old cycles and start expanding in real time. So go ahead, grab your virtual goodie bag and book your 45-minute session with me. This is where your nervous system and your human design finally click into place and life starts to feel radically different. I'm so proud of you for showing up today, and I cannot wait to meet you one-on-one to unlock the next level of your power.